Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at two scary stories. Friends, today's first story is the story of the state of Uttar Pradesh in India. There was a civil hospital here, and there was a boy who worked as a security guard there, and he used to do duty there at night. The boy's name was Surjit, and an incident occurred with Surjit at the hospital, after which he remained mentally upset for many years. He puts this incident to the media many years later. When people heard Surjit's story, their hearts were shaken. What is the story? We will find out in today's video. The story actually begins with Surjit's friend Amit. Amit and Surjit studied together in school, and both were very poor boys, so they both left their studies in between. Amit came from a very poor family. His father had also had a heart attack, and there was only his mother at home. His father was ill, so he cannot do any work. Now all the responsibility of the house fall on Amit, and Amit had no job. He was wandering here and there in search of work. Then he finds out that near his house there is a government hospital where there is a need for a security guard, but the job had to be done at night. When Amit talked to his family about this job, they clearly refused to let him work at the hospital during the night. However, Amit had no other option. He needed money for his father's medicine and for household groceries. Reluctantly, Amit agreed to take the job. On his first day at work, Amit's senior informed him that there was also a mortuary inside the hospital. He warned Amit that while working at night, he would often hear strange noises from inside the hospital. Regardless of what happened, Amit was not to enter the hospital. He was to stay outside and perform his duties. After hearing this from his senior, Amit initially gets a little nervous. After that, he starts his night duty. He sits outside the hospital all night. Slowly, Amit was the only one left in this hospital. The rest of the staff had gone home, and there was no one else in this hospital except Amit. Just like that, tonight passes, and Amit does not hear any noise from the hospital that day. Slowly but steadily, time was passing. Now, Amit had started receiving his salary, and his mind was also beginning to focus on his work. He would tell his family not to fear the hospital, as there was a very nice garden right in front of the hospital where dogs and other animals would roam around at night, and watching them, he wouldn't even realize how the night passed. Amit's father was already ill, and now his mother was also becoming older and falling ill. Because of this, Amit's mother asked him to get married, and Amit agreed. After a few days, they found a good match for him. The girl was also from a poor family, and their marriage took place soon. After this, Amit started living his life well. 2 years after the marriage, Amit's wife became pregnant, and after a few days, a child was about to be born in their house. Amit now knew that happiness was about to come home, and he also needed money. One night, Amit's wife suddenly started having stomach pains. Perhaps she was about to have a baby, so Amit goes to his home from hospital. After that, he admitted his wife to another hospital because that hospital was specially made for women's delivery. When the doctor checks Amit's wife, he says she will have to stay in the hospital for 2 to 3 days. Her delivery could happen anytime, and she could have labor pain anytime. Amit was very happy on one hand, but on the other hand, he was worried about who would go to work in his place now because he was going to get a holiday for 2 to 3 days. So Amit calls his friend Surjit and tells him everything. Surjit also agrees to take his place on duty because at that time, Surjit was also free at home and had no work. Amit tells his friend Surjit that it's just a matter of 2 to 3 days. He needs to do security duty at the government hospital at night. He says, "As soon as my wife delivers the baby, and then when we go home, after that I will join work again. Just help me for a few days." After this, Surjit goes to do hospital duty in place of Amit. The senior officer tells Surjit the same thing that he told Amit earlier. The senior officer tells that no one is present in the hospital at night. All the staff members go home. "You will be alone in this hospital. Just manage your work," the senior officer says to Surjit. Then he says, "If you hear any noise from inside the hospital, just ignore it. Sit outside and do your work. Besides this, nothing else. Surjit felt that the senior is going mad. If there is any noise from inside the hospital, he will definitely go inside and check, because he is currently in charge of the hospital's security and he is responsible for the entire hospital. Today was his first day at work. Around 1 o'clock at night, everything was silent. Surjit was sitting outside the hospital on a chair, doing his duty. There was a park right in front of him. Today there were no animals in the park either. It was quiet everywhere. Then Surjit heard some noise from the hospital. At first he didn't pay much attention to this noise and kept sitting on his chair. After some time, street dogs came there and started barking loudly. Surjit also found this normal. Surjit was doing duty at night for the first time, so he was also feeling sleepy, and because of sleep, his eyes were also closing. After some time, he heard the noise from inside the hospital again, as if someone was walking. Surjit thought he was in a dream, so that's why he feels anxious. He still sits on his chair, but after some time, the sound starts coming very loudly, as if someone is running inside a hospital. Surjit thinks maybe a thief has entered the hospital, so he runs inside, but no one was there. Then he goes back outside and sits on his chair again. This is how tonight passes. Meanwhile, Amit's wife was admitted to the hospital, but she was still not in delivery pain, so there was still time for Amit to come on duty. So the next day, Surjit had to go to duty in place of Amit. Surjit also does the night shift tonight and sits on a chair outside the hospital. Tonight again, Surjit hears someone crying inside the hospital. Surjit wonders who is crying inside the hospital. Then he takes a torch and goes inside and checks every room of the hospital, but no one was there. Then, when he is about to come back to the gate, his eyes go to a room. The door of this room was open, and it was a mortuary where the bodies of the dead were kept. Amit goes inside that room, but doesn't see anyone inside. Then he closes the door to the morgue and sits outside. When it's around 2 a.m., Surjit hears the sound of someone running inside the hospital again. When Surjit goes inside the hospital, no one is present inside. The morgue door was also open this time. Surjit wonders who could have opened it, as no one else was present in the hospital besides him. After that, Surjit walks into the morgue. As soon as he enters, he turns on the light, but no one is present inside. Then suddenly, Surjit hears a sound coming from a box. When Surjit opens the box, he finds nothing inside. The box was completely empty. After that, Surjit closes the box. After that, Surjit hears a strange noise from the back of the box. After that, Surjit opens the box. Inside the box, there was a woman's body with her eyes open, and it seemed like she was looking at Surjit. Surjit gets very scared looking at the woman's face, and in a hurry, he closes the box and starts running outside. That's when Surjit hears a voice from behind saying, "Where are you going, Surjit?" Surjit comes out of that room, but as soon as he comes out, he faints near the gate of the hospital. Surjit was so scared at that time that he couldn't understand what to do, and because of this fear, he fainted at night. After that, when it's 6 o'clock in the morning, Amit comes there, sees Surjit near the gate, and thinks that maybe Surjit has fallen asleep there. Amit goes to wake Surjit up and says, "Brother, did you sleep here? What happened?" Surjit wakes up and looks around. Surjit also doesn't tell Amit anything and says, "Yes, brother, my eyes got tired." After this, Amit tells Surjit, "Congratulations, you have become an uncle. A son is born in our house." Surjit congratulates him and says, "Okay, I will come for duty from tonight." Then Amit says, "Yes, from today, I will do the duty," and thanks Surjit a lot for doing the duty for 2 days. Surjit thinks God saved his life, otherwise he doesn't know what would have happened to him at night. After today, he will never come to this hospital at night again. After a few more years passed since this incident, it was the Amit's son's birthday, and that night both Amit and Surjit drank to that night. After drinking alcohol, Surjit tells Amit that when you were about to have a son, he had gone to the hospital for a few days to do duty in your place. And then I heard a strange sound from inside the hospital, and on that day, I was not lying down on the ground, but I was unconscious. But I have never had the courage to tell you about that night. But today I will tell you about that incident. After that, Surjit tells his entire story to Amit, and Amit also tells him from now on that he also hears a voice from inside the hospital every day. But he has never gone inside the hospital. He only goes inside the hospital when the hospital staff is present during the day. Amit also tells that the senior has also told him that no matter what happens, he should not go to the hospital at night, perhaps because ghosts roam inside the hospital at night. That's why I always sit outside the hospital and do my duty, and I've been doing this for many years. So, this was today's first story. Today's second story that we are going to tell you is about a boy named Laxman Das, which happened with him when he went out at night with his friend. Laxman Das was a boy who did not believe in ghosts, but that night something happened to him, and his belief in ghosts became strong. So what is the story? We will find out in this video. This story starts from Raj Engineering College, which is located in the city of Jodhpur in Rajasthan. Laxman Das came to this college to study engineering and stayed in a hostel here. Laxman Das was quite a smart student in studies. He lived in the hostel with his friend Mukesh, who also studied in the same class. Gradually, they became good friends. Mukesh was very clever in studies, but on the other hand, he believed a lot in ghosts and spirits, and Mukesh also liked watching horror movies a lot. So Laxman Das would always tell him that watching horror movies for entertainment is fine, but believing in them is foolishness. Between Mukesh and Laxman Das, there were several arguments about this matter. Then Laxman Das asked Mukesh, "Have you ever seen ghosts with your own eyes?" Mukesh replied, "No, but I believe in them, and so does my family. My grandfather once saw a ghost." Laxman Das told him, "Your grandfather must have been mistaken. Ghosts don't actually exist." One day they were sitting in their hostel drinking, and the topic of ghosts came up again. Laxman Das said to Mukesh, "If I see a ghost with my own eyes, I will believe in it. Otherwise, you should stop believing in ghosts too." That night, they were up until around 10 o'clock, and they both drank a lot of alcohol. After this, Mukesh tells Laxman Das, "Today I will show you a ghost for sure." So Mukesh tells Laxman Das that they should go to the nearby graveyard where they might see a ghost. Laxman Das also agrees, "Yes, why not? Let's go there." After that, both of them sit on a motorcycle and head towards the graveyard. The graveyard was about 5 kilometers away from their hostel. When they reached the graveyard, the gate was closed and locked. Then, Mukesh says to Laxman Das, "Our luck is bad today. We cannot go inside the graveyard." However, Laxman Das tells him, "Don't worry, we'll wait here and look for a soul." After that, they both start smoking cigarettes while sitting there. It had been about an hour since they sat down, and it was around 11 o'clock at night, but they hadn't seen any person or spirit yet. After that, Laxman Das tells Mukesh, "I told you, there are no ghosts. Now let's go to the hostel. I'm feeling very sleepy." Just then, as they were about to get on the motorcycle, a motorcycle approaches them from ahead. They both stop there. There were 2 policemen on that motorcycle. Mukesh gets nervous seeing the police because they had been drinking alcohol, and he was afraid the police might catch them. The police glance at them, which is certain, but they take the motorcycle ahead. After that, Laxman Das tells Mukesh, "Quickly get on the motorcycle. We need to go to the hostel now because we have been drinking alcohol and the police can interrogate us." After this, they start returning from the same road they came from. After some time, they see the same 2 policemen standing on the side of the road on their motorcycle. Then Laxman Das says to Mukesh, "These are the same policemen who just passed by us, but they went from the other road. How did they come here again?" At that moment, Laxman Das thought maybe they misunderstood because both of them had been drinking. So they ignore the 2 policemen and move ahead. A little further down the road, Laxman Das and Mukesh see the 2 policemen passing by them again. This time, the policemen were coming towards them. Laxman Das and Mukesh get scared seeing this because just now the 2 policemen had come from behind them and the policemen had not gone ahead of them. Then, seeing the policeman coming towards them again, they start to think that this is not a normal person. This must be a ghost. Therefore, Laxman Das tells Mukesh to quickly ride the bike, and we have to go to our room as soon as possible. Then both of them quickly ride the bike and reach their room and take a sigh of relief. Now, Laxman Das was also convinced that there are really ghosts in this world, and Mukesh already believed in ghosts. But Mukesh had never seen a ghost. Laxman Das and Mukesh were both fortunate that those two police officers did not harm them. Whenever the police officers appeared, they quietly passed by them. So, this was today's story. We hope you liked the story. See you next time with another new real story. Thank you.